Good evening. I'd like to call the Wednesday, April 27th, 2023 special city council meeting to order. Oh, Thursday. Ron Burgundy. So yeah, Thursday. Roll call, please.
Mayor Harrington,
Here.
Vice Mayor Wu,
Here.
Councilmember Chan,
Here.
Councilmember Ding,
Yeah.
Councilmember Menchaca is absent.
Okay, now we'll have some announcements from the Assistant City Clerk.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on Cable Channel 3 and our online platforms. If you wish to address the City Council, we request that you please complete a speaker's request card and hand it to the clerk. If you wish to be added to the distribution list to receive City Council agendas, please email your request to cityclerk@sgch.org. One change to tonight's agenda, due to the inability to have a full council present tonight, with the mayor's approval, deliberation and appointments have been moved to the May 2nd, 2023 regular meeting.
So approved. First item, please.
First item is public comment. This time is set aside for members of the public to address the City Council on items on this agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. When speaking, please state your name for the record. Mayor, I haven't received any public comments tonight.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience like to make a public comment? Seeing none. We'll go to the next item, please.
Item number 2, interviews and appointments to the Civil Service Commission and Community Services Commission. Applicants will be interviewed to fill 2 expiring seats on the Civil Service Commission and 3 expiring seats on the Community Services Commission. Mayor and council members, you will have 15 minutes to interview each candidate. The timer will be set when the light turns orange. It will indicate when the applicant has 5 minutes remaining.
Thank you.
The first interview is going to be for the Civil Service Commission. The first interviewee is George Carney, applicant for the Civil Service Commission.
Right here, ready to go.
Hot seat.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor Harrington, Vice Mayor Wu, Council Member Chan and Ding. Nice to see you guys.
Good evening. Good to see you again, George. First of all, I'd like to thank you for volunteering once again. We appreciate your service, even though it's been, I would call it limited or non-existent.
It's unique.
It's on call, so this is, like I think I said at the commissioners' dinner, this is one of those commissions you don't want to have to meet. Like the fire department, you don't want to have them show up.
Exactly. A colleague made the analogy to being in the reserves. You hope you're not ever called, but you want to be ready when you are. So
Correct. So that's why we need good volunteers and knowledgeable people on this commission. So we're going to have each council member ask you some questions, and then we'll give you an opportunity to speak at the end as well. So I'll go first. And I know you've served on this, but maybe give a little background on what skills you have that would apply to the Civil Service Commission.
I think in terms of direct application, my career as a teacher led me to, for a long time, being a part of the teachers' union negotiating team. So I kind of got a feel for public employment, the negotiation, the back and forth of that, how public employees are treated, and what your rights are. That's probably the one background item. The second, of course, is just my lifelong residence in San Gabriel, and my love for this city. And this is my home. So I think those 2 things are probably it: my public employment and my lifelong residence, and all the other stuff I'm involved in too.
All right, thank you. So next we'll go to Vice Mayor Wu.
Thank you, Mayor. Hey, George.
Hi, John.
So good to see you here. We have seen many times, but this is a very impressive. I see your resume, and you were the coach, director, and treasurer for St. Gabriel Little League.
Right, that's a long time ago. Yeah, that was when my son was playing Little League, actually, and he's 52 now, so it's been a while. But yeah, I was.
And thank you so much for reapplying for this position. As far as I know, that it was pretty peaceful in the past few years. That there's no significant cases that needs the service from the Civil Service Commission. But
Right.
what's your experience? Do you have any kind of experience that handling employees, like what's disciplined or any complaints?
I say my experience in that line would be when I was one of the officers of San Gabriel Teachers Association and was involved both in contract negotiations and unfortunately a couple of times when there were actions being taken against a teacher. And I was, how the union supports people or represents them. So that was limited, I think 2 or maybe 3 times in the time I was teaching. But I did get involved in that end of it. So I kind of got a little of the feel of it.
So you have experience dealing with union as well?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. That specific union, the San Gabriel Teachers Association.
I see. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Councilmember Chan.
Hi, George.
Hi, Eric.
Thanks for coming. So I appreciate your answers so far. But do you have any experience, I guess you mentioned the union side, but do you happen to have any experience so far? Again, we hope we don't have to, but on the kind of employer side, kind of like as this would be on the city side of having to.
Nothing in a direct sense. In fact, I could say the only exposure I've had to that would be in my time on the commission. There's been, I think, 3 or maybe 4 cases that were going to be heard by the commission, in each case we got, I and the other commissioners, a big fat packet of all the background stuff that we were supposed to read, and boy, there's a lot of it. Reading through that, that gave me some exposure, but that would be it. Okay. I've never been a boss or a manager, so I can't say I have.
Okay.
But I did see.
You got to see it, yeah.
I got to see that aspect of it, yeah.
Okay. Well, like we said, hopefully we don't need it, but you have had that kind of experience. At
I
least
have seen.
seeing kind of what the procedure looks like, and
I've seen what the people were charged with, why they were in danger of losing their employment, how the evidence was presented and so forth and so on. Those packets were very comprehensive.
Okay.
Very comprehensive.
Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Councilmember Ding.
Hi, Tony.
And I see you again. I saw you a lot of the community involvement. It's a very active. Appreciate your last couple years. How many years you served on the civil?
How many years on what, sir?
You served this commissioner.
I think I'm applying for my 3rd term. I think this will be my 3rd term if I'm
Third term.
appointed.
Yeah, I think it's at least a couple terms.
It's been a
My
couple of
understanding.
terms, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for the spare time that served on the commissioner. And the question is, do you have any example show you how to consideration with the workplace with the equity and the diversity?
I'm sorry, do I have experience with equity and
it's,
diversity?
Example, it's not the experience too, yeah. Regarding the workplace, right now it's more equity.
That is the thing right now, yes, of
diversity,
course.
yeah.
Again, I've never been in a supervisorial position in the workplace, so I can't say I have experience that way. In terms of equity and diversity, though, as you saw on my resume, I'm involved in a lot of organizations. The Chinese American Citizens Alliance. I'm an officer and treasurer of that. And actually, we got involved in a lot of stuff a couple of years ago with the anti-Asian hate stuff that went around when COVID was going on. But no, I can't say, again, any formal experience. No, I was a high school teacher for most of my career. I was an accountant before then, and that's about it.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your answer. Thank you.
Thank you. So with the remaining time we have, George, is there anything you would want to add or anything you think the council should know for our deliberations?
Just that I appreciate the opportunity to be of service if it is required. I've always prided myself on staying and being an active member of my community, and as long as, I'm getting old, but as long as my health holds on, I hope I can continue to do that. I think I've lived in San Gabriel my entire life. This is my home, this is where my kids grew up, and I'd like to just continue to be as active as I can in the city and its affairs. And this is an opportunity for me to do that. Again, hopefully, we're not going to need people in this commission too often to come in and resolve things.
Thank you, appreciate it. Have a good evening. So just so you know, we will be deliberating Tuesday. We'll make our decision Tuesday. You're welcome to join us live or on YouTube.
I'll probably be here live, but thank you very much.
All right, we'll keep a seat warm for you. Thank you.
Our next interview is with Howard Fong.
Right there, there's a chair. We're trying to make you comfortable.
Hey, this ain't comfortable. Good evening.
Good evening, Howard. Thank you for volunteering to apply. We appreciate that. We always like it when people step up to serve. So each council member will ask questions, and we're going to start tonight with Vice Mayor Wu.
All right, sure.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, Mr. Fong.
Yes, sir.
You are a member of San Gabriel Valley Chinese Culture Association.
Yeah.
I know that association, they have done a lot of cultural things, lion dance performance in our city. Has that ever happened in our city before?
Well, as close as is that parade, they used to have that during New Year's, they had a parade down Valley. We participated in that.
Down the valley?
On Valley Boulevard, it used to go down from Valley Boulevard down to Garfield. It's a part of Alhambra or Monterey Park or.
Oh,
Many years ago, we used to combine with Alhambra.
I see, okay. And so can you tell me why do you want to serve on the Civil Service Commission?
No particular reason. I just thought it was an interesting commission, try to check it out. I wanted to go on Recreational Commission because I got a feeling this town is changing in terms of recreational activities, and I just wanted to get involved with it. But it seemed like it was too much work for me, so this one here had less meetings, so I figured, okay, I'll try this and see what it's like. If it works out, I'll go for that recreational one, because I'm concerned about the tennis courts that you have here. You
tennis
don't
court.
have enough of them, and then I got a feeling this pickleball game is taking over a lot of courts, and they're getting kind of powerful in terms of asking for permanent courts and stuff. And you folks are thinking about putting new pickleball courts, but I don't know about the financing for that. So anyway, that's what started me looking at these commission things, and then I saw this one, and I thought, oh, I might handle this one. It might sound interesting. Civil
you.
service stuff.
Thank you for considering to serve your community. So what's your experience with unions? I know that you're a pharmacist, you're a professional.
Well, I was a member for ASME, the representative for the bargaining group for pharmacists in the state of California employees. I was 30 years with the state of California as a pharmacist, serving in the hospitals with the Department of Health Services, and then the last 5 years with corrections. So all those, except for the time I was in the corrections, I was a member of ASME or CSEA, whoever was the bargaining unit representative for the state employees,
Okay.
for the pharmacist unit, Unit 19. And then before that, before I joined the state, I was with retail clerks.
Retail clerks.
Yeah, I was a retail clerk since I think my first college job was with as a stock clerk, so I had to join the union with Thrifty Drugs, the old Thrifty drugstores. So I've been a member of a union, and then now retired, a state employee. I'm with the Retired Public Employees Association. So I did that.
I
That's not a union, but I mean, it's a group of group of concerned people with a common interest.
So do you have any experience on handling the employees' discipline and
Well, my last 5 years with corrections, I was a head of pharmacy, so I was a managerial. So I wasn't a part of a union representative or like that. I was unrepresentative. As a supervisor, you had the old adage, 10% of your employees takes up 80% of your time. So you spent a lot of time writing up disciplinary actions on employees. And then that goes to human resources, HR, and then eventually they make a decision, and then they take it up to the warden of the facility, and they decide whether or not to take it outside. So I did a lot of that. I had to do a lot of stuff in corrections, a lot of employee issues.
awesome? Well, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you. Next, we'll have questions from Councilmember Chan.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fong, thanks for coming.
Yes, sir.
Vice Mayor Wu stole all my questions, so I'll defer my time.
Okay, that's easy.
But thank you. I was going to ask one of the questions, but
Thank you. So we'll go to Councilmember Ding.
Thank you, Mr. Fong, to interesting the community service for the civil commissioner, and some I know the councilmember Wu already have a lot of question give it to you. My question is, you think about it because the community service is to spend too many time. So your time, but how do you handle that if you want to serve on the civil commissioner? If just in case have the meeting.
What the schedule was, they said that it meets periodically, not every month,
Yes.
right? So hopefully you'll give a lead time, like maybe 2 weeks lead time, and I'll make time for it. It's in the evenings, right?
Okay.
And I'm unemployed and old, and that's all I got at time at night. I don't go out at night anymore at dark,
Okay.
unless it's formal.
Okay. All right.
But the other commissions had like monthly meetings, and I says, oh, that ties up a lot of time for me. I mean,
So are you retired?
yeah.
Oh, but that's meaning you have a lot of activity,
Huh?
right?
Well,
You retire, you have a lot of activity.
I play a lot of sports and stuff, just do a lot of outside activities.
Okay, that's good.
But,
That's good. Yeah.
at evenings and stuff, it's not that whole lot to do, You go out once in a while to some meeting places and stuff, that's about it. But I don't go out and like you used to, hang out but anyway, But I heard it was, it sounded like it was evening stuff, and so, hey, that's, I can do that. Occasionally, whatever, PRN as needed basis.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer.
may I make a comment, Mr. Mayor?
Reserve your time.
I just wanted just to give a little information for Mr. Fong here, that, yes, this particular commission is an as-needed.
Yes.
So it's one of those things where it's only needed when there's a problem with staff and employee issues. So we look at it as we hope we don't need you to serve.
Yes, that's
But we need you to be there. So-
Right. And I'm sure if an issue comes up, it'll take some time and, a little due process to do,
Yes.
to take care of. And
Yes.
So that's what I'm into, but,
Okay.
I'm only worried like the old adage, like say 10% of your employees gives you 90% of your problems, so, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Usually, that's true. Thank you. I'll yield in time again.
Thank you. So this commission, the idea of it is, like Councilmember Chan said, you're going to have to deal with, it's basically employee discipline. When an employee's been disciplined, they don't agree with maybe what the city management did. So you'll probably have some complex legal issues, some issues that may involve, determining facts. Have you ever had any experience in anything like that, or where you had to take two sides to figure out which one is more believable?
Well, when I was with the Department of Health Services, I was a pharmaceutical consultant for the department. And we had to develop, in my unit, I was audits and investigations, so we did review of Medi-Cal providers, pharmacies, physicians, healthcare providers that were getting paid by the program for bills. And we would make assessments of those billing practices, and we would bring up information that's we would consider factual, put them together, and make a proposal of what is appropriate and inappropriate for a particular pattern of billings, and then take a course of action, provide that advice or plans. One of them is when you do come up with a case and you go through the process, at the end you have to go to like a grand jury, and what you do is you argue or you present your case, your arguments, a line of arguments, or your disputed issues, and you present that to a group, and you present it and see what they agree with you or not, and then from there you can develop regulations or statutes that would address that and hopefully prevent that in the future. So I've had to you have to look at regulations, evaluate it, and then see how it make a determination of whether or not it applies to your situation. So I've done that. When I was in supervisory for corrections, you had to deal with the civil service rules and regulations, health and safety, employee requirements of what their job is, the job descriptions, and you had to look at that and apply that to the situation where you think they're out of compliance, and you have to develop an argument or make a presentation of that side and say, hey, this is what happened. It's out of compliance with this and that, and recommend a course of action. So I've done that. So I've had experience doing that, and so I think I've gotten some experiences where you can look at a set of rules and see if they apply or they're out of compliance with the situation that that's presented to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So is there anything you would like to just tell the council, or anything you think we should know during our deliberations?
No, I'm just willing to help, so.
All right. What you see is what you get.
Yes, sir.
All right. I like that. So we're going to be making our decision on Tuesday. We'll have deliberations. You're welcome to join us in chambers, or you can watch on YouTube.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Our next interview is with Douglas Richter. Mayor, he's not here today.
Oh, he's not here? Okay, so then we will move on to the next commissioner.
Community Services Applications. Our next interview is with Davis Barantes.
Thank you. Should be David, correct? Not Davis? David or Davis?
Hello,
David or Davis?
Davis.
Davis, okay, because one says David and one says Davis. No worries.
It's okay.
Good evening.
That happens often. Good evening.
Good evening. So welcome, and thank you for applying. We appreciate you stepping up and volunteering.
No problem.
So we're going to have questions from each of us tonight.
Okay.
So we're going to start this time with Councilmember Chan.
Hello.
All right, Davis, nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out and applying.
No problem.
What I was curious about is what programs have you participated in the city, and do you enjoy? And also, what new programs would you like to be involved in if you are selected for this commission?
Programs within the city, I have not. I work for the county, so I've dealt with a lot of programs within the county.
No, but I mean, just as as a resident or someone who enjoys our community, do you attend any of our events?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's
the
what I
ones,
mean.
Yeah, sorry. The ones here that you have at the Mission, you know, Halloween, the Lunar Festival came to. So I bring my boys here for that, and we, you know, enjoy the setting and the environment.
And then second part of my question was, if you are selected, what would you like to see, and what projects would you like to bring to our city, or?
One of them would be my eldest son. He's autistic, and I've noticed San Gabriel doesn't have too many programs that involves that, at least that I've seen, and it's not known if it is available. And I know a lot of, so his ability to have you know, social interaction with other kids is very limited because, you know, he doesn't play the same way that normal children would play. So, you know, I've tried to sign him up for sports and whatnot, and I know that San Gabriel didn't have anyone that offered any specifically for, you know, special education children, children with autism. I used to sign him up for AYSO. They had a VIP program that was strictly for autistic children, and it's something that they can go out and play and have fun with other kids. So that's one thing I would like to see, is something more involved with that, because not only that, I meet the other parents in his classes, and they all have the same issues, like, can we have a play day? Can we have a play day? Like, my child's home, I'm bored, you know, watching YouTube all day. Like, there's nothing there for them to get out and get active. Right. So.
It's good ideas, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Councilmember Ding.
Davis, right? Thank you to apply this community service. Actually, I'm used to community service commissioner too. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, so you think it's our community service recreation park, it's have enough the event, or you think it's we have to have the more event for our community?
Well, it seems like you guys have your events set, so I probably, you know, would like to try and think of other events. Like I said, I work with the county, and they do a lot of events there, so I would maybe kind of try and incorporate some ideas that they do that maybe we might not, or the city here does not do as well. But yeah, I would try to bring something new.
Okay. So which one you think is good? We can continue to do that, or like you mentioned, though, maybe you bring the more like a county event to help our city event. Yeah. So which one you think a current event it's good for? We can need a consistent to do that.
I think the events you currently have right now are good, because a lot of the parents, they all go to those events, and they're the major holiday events. So there's nothing bad in regards to what you guys have set up now. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you're working for the county. How do you prepare your time to go to the commissioner meeting?
Well, fortunately for me, I'm on a hybrid schedule, so I go in the office once a week. And I'm in IT, so fortunately, most of the time our systems are functioning and good, so I'm not overburdened with work where it's going to make me miss a commission. So, yeah, I'll be good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thanks, Davis, for, like I said, thanks for applying. We really appreciate it. You know, this commission really is the city's best way to engage with the community. And like you said with your son, it's not always easy to get all parts of the community. So can you give me some other examples of maybe ideas or things you might bring to help us engage the entire community better?
There's one thing that I had done in the county that, I don't know if it'll, well, maybe it might. It's called the Toy Loan Program. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
I have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I worked specifically with that program where you pretty much open a toy lending library, which helps the families that are lower income who may not be able to afford to get toys for their children, especially with inflation right now. That's always a hard thing. I know my boys, every time we go out, are always asking for toys. So that's one thing, an idea, I could be tossed around, see if that can go forth. But yeah, the children kind of go borrow a toy, and then they have it for about a week and return it. So it kind of shows them how to, respect someone else's toy that's not theirs, and they get a new toy among that. And not only that, we would have events planned where we would have backpack giveaways, or we would look for donors who would, offer, some type of tickets to, the families that we can provide to them. So I know maybe not to us, it doesn't seem like it would be much, but when you see those children's faces and they see those toys and the excitement they have, like it's something that's hard to describe. And like I said, if you're not from a lower income, you might not completely understand how those children feel. Even the parents are grateful, completely grateful for that. And so yeah, at the end of they do it for about 12 weeks, I think it was, and they get a brand new toy. We have a stock room full of brand new toys, and they go in and pick whatever they want. So bikes, dolls, just all type of toys. But that, of course, we had to go for donations as well. So it was a lot of work, but that's something I could see, trying to implement over here. I still have my contacts over there in the county, so it probably wouldn't be that hard, but yeah.
Great idea, I like it.
Uh-huh.
So next we'll go to Vice Mayor Wu.
Hi, Davis. Well, thank you very much for applying for this position, and also thank you very much for serving our country. You are a Navy veteran,
Yes.
and your profession is IT.
Yes, correct.
So how do you apply your professions to your role on the community service commissions if you get appointed?
For me, I work with our systems for treasurer and tax collector. So I'm an information system analyst is my title. Pretty much I need to know the flow of a system from the beginning to the result and everything in between that happens. So if something breaks in the middle, I need to figure out what happened. And then if it sprouts from there, I got to determine what happens there. So for me, it would be kind of applying that same principle to, the projects or planning that we would have in that commission and kind of see, where we might be able to improve, where it might be broken communication-wise, and just kind of work it from there to, get it going along the path that we'd like to, see the results.
Thank you. And also, you said other city also have some other program. Is there any particular program in any other city that impressed you before and you think, oh, wow, this is a good idea, and if they will be happening in our city, that will be great. Can you name one or two?
Well, that one, the VIP with the soccer, that was a great program. Well, I'm bringing this in terms of my son, because it brought him, like it got not only me to meet other parents, but it had him to interact with other children that I wish, San Gabriel had. I did sign him up for a summer basketball camp, and I had asked him, hey, my son's autistic. Is this something that would, he'd be able okay with? Because it was supposed to be entry level, but we had to quit the first day because it was as if they assumed all the kids would know how to play, and it was just not what I expected, so we had to pull him out of that. But yeah, that program really enjoyed it, and I know a lot of residents here in San Gabriel go outside of the city to join those programs. I guess one of the community things, I just remember now, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that Buy Nothing group? No? There's one for San Gabriel, and I'm actually the admin there, and that's actually brought me a lot of community. I know a lot of people in the community now through that. But yeah, it's just, there's some parents there that I know have autistic children, and they'll kind of advertise, hey, there's this opening up in Temple City or Pasadena for, children with autism. So yeah, back to the question. That program is something I wish we had. Maybe not for soccer, but basketball, baseball, or some encompass all of that. That would be something I would like to see for sure.
Well, actually, I would say our city actually has a very strong team on the community service. We have a lot of good program. But I would like to, I would like to get your advice. How do you think a city can make those information for community event activities become more accessible to the public? That means that people will just, just grab the people's ice balls right away. We have so many things, but I believe that we should attract, this is really attractive. We want to attract more people to join our city's event.
Yeah, I think the big thing right now is social media. I mean, I am subscribed to, your Facebook and Instagram, but I want to say it's not the strongest. I mean, there's a few posts maybe every few days, but I think that has to be more frequent. Maybe more reminders, something that stands out more. I'm trying to think of how the flyers might have looked. Something in regards to that. Maybe have liaisons within the community. If we have maybe a subgroup of that type that would go out or notify it.
Okay, I think that, commissioner is also, I would say, serve as a city's liaison as well. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Davis. Is there anything that you'd like to add, maybe that we haven't asked you that you think might help us in our deliberations?
No, just overall, I haven't had the experience, I guess, specifically with the city, but I've done a lot of outreach. One with the toy loan program, I've gone to many events. And then when I was over with B of A, I was, being a veteran, I was part of the donation program over there. So we would donate homes to wounded veterans. So, I have a lot of experience with helping others. Maybe not so much, I guess, in San Gabriel, at least not right now, which I would like, but just in general, lower income with toy loan, the veterans, and then kind of meeting our community members within that Buy Nothing group and seeing how they feel about the city and what they're lacking, I guess. I mean, that's something I could actually post on and see what people think and get their thoughts. I mean, it's just another venue that maybe other people don't have access to or thought of, so. But yeah, that's just more on me.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Appreciate that. Yeah,
May I?
certainly.
Quick question. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit on that Buy Nothing program?
Well,
What does that mean, or how is it?
Yeah, so Buy Nothing is their principle is reducing waste. So a lot of items are, they're giving the items for free, like baby clothes, baby toys. It could be anything, a table, chair. Instead of going to a landfill, they're giving it to within the community for free. And then people can ask, say, hey, does anyone have an extra, speaker that I can use for a party or this and that? And someone will go up and say, oh yeah, I have this here. Okay, and that builds the community. People get to know each other that would have probably never known each other. And then, like I said, the principle of that is just reducing waste and just using the items to the fullest instead of going straight to landfill. So I wish I had known about it before, because there's many stuff I threw away from my boys that I easily could have given to other people to have a second life, third life, fourth life. But yeah, that's that. So if you guys want to join, you can look it up on Facebook. Buy Nothing San Gabriel.
Okay, great, thank you. I will look into it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. You're assuming we would use Facebook. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good evening. We will be making our deliberations on Tuesday
Okay.
at the council meeting. So you're welcome to join us either in person or watch us on YouTube.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Our next interview is with Nancy Duong, applicant for the Community Services Commission.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nancy. Thank you for applying. We really appreciate it when people step up and volunteer. So thank you. Tonight we'll be asking, the four of us will be asking you questions. We will start with Councilmember Ding tonight.
Thank you, Nancy, to apply the community service commissioner. I always mention I before I council member I was serve under this commission. So really like yeah. So first question is just same to me that when I get asking it's why you interesting to become this community service commissioner.
Yeah. Well, so thank you again for having me interview for this commission, and I think it'd be a real honor to be able to serve my community. I believe the Community Services Department does excellent work when it comes to engaging with the community. Very much, you know, the work that they do touches the lives of many households across San Gabriel. I believe in its mission of inclusiveness and improving the quality of life for residents of San Gabriel. I believe that there is a lot of good work that we can continue to do in this capacity in terms of being able to outreach to communities who may not be targeted as much in the flyers that are sent out, in the digital media, certainly communities who don't necessarily speak English as a first language, residents who may be more elderly and who are not as, you know, sort of social media savvy. There are many other ways that, you know, we can reach out to our community members to make sure that everyone feels like they're being included in shaping the city and growing with the city.
Thank you. And how long have you been living in the city of San Gabriel?
So I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I've been coming to San Gabriel my entire life, whether it's to visit Hawaii's supermarket or to grab wonton noodle soup at what was formerly Samoa in Focus Plaza. May it rest in peace. So my family's been coming here for a very long time. I have lived here my family has been here since 2015. My entire family's moved out, so my sister's family is here, my brother, my parents. We've all moved out from the west side to the east side, and we prefer it out here.
Thank you. So the next question is, I think you already living so long in our city of San Gabriel. So for the previous any activity event, did you attend it? And my question, so which one event you like it? Want us the city is consistent to do that, and or you think it's still not enough? You want to bring the more activity?
Right.
So yeah, two questions.
Sure. So the programming is excellent, and I was really appreciative of the program, especially during the pandemic, because it was very easy, I think, for community service departments to sort of pull back because there was this reluctance to engage, you know, in a space where there are many people, but they didn't do that. They set up events at the Mission's parking lot. You know, there were lots of giveaways in terms of testing kits and masks, and they had the Halloween Trunkathon, I believe it's called. You know, so there are lots of amazing events there. I have two little ones. Like I said, my nephew and my niece are here, so we're always going out to the community events. So whenever we get the grapevine, we pour over it. So I think a better question for me is, what haven't I done? Most recently, I used Passport Services, which is such a big time saver when it comes to getting your passport done. I have my kids in the swimming classes. Last summer, even though we had to wait about an hour outside of the recreation room to get our spot, we did it and we got in. Probably we'll do it again this summer. Summer camp is back. We're probably gonna have the kids at summer camp. In terms of events, Beer and Dumpling Festival, the Lunar New Year celebration, which we're really happy to see that, especially after the pandemic, and especially what had happened in Monterey Park, to see that the city was committed to bringing this very important event for our families to come out and enjoy to celebrate the holiday. The haunted house, I believe some high school students had volunteered to set up the haunted house for Halloween. It was exceptional. I shouldn't have taken my kids through it, actually. They still have nightmares. And, you know, any number of Cinco de Mayo events, you know, I can go on and on. I think the programming for the size of city is actually really strong. I'm more than happy to continue going to all of the events that I normally would as a resident of San Gabriel.
You mentioned that we need a more like a multi-language to let the people know the event. So how many different languages you can speak?
Well, so as you probably know, as an Asian immigrant, you know, we have to wear many different hats. So I, of course, grew up in a multilingual household. My native language is Cantonese, actually. My kids are learning Mandarin, though, because it is the official language of China. And, you know, we want to make sure that they are grounded in Mandarin Chinese. My parents are Vietnamese immigrants, Vietnamese Chinese immigrants. My mother speaks Hainanese from Hainan. I can go on and on.
That's great.
Lots of little
That's good.
dialects.
Yeah. Good family. Okay, so you can help us to more broadcasting our the event too. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I would say that my Chinese proficiency from a business standpoint is not great. I would rely on someone who's a little bit, you know, who's stronger in terms of their Chinese language abilities. But you know, certainly there are many. You know, when you talk about outreach to Asian Americans in the community, it's usually through, you know, like I don't even know the English word for this. You know, like there's Chinese newspapers. There's 1430 radio station AM. You know, that targets.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
you know everything.
Yeah, so, you know, those are different ways of reaching out to that population.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you. So now that we have 3/4 of the questions asked, he's following your model. Too excited. So like any agency or any body, we can always improve anything. Everybody can always improve. So I just wanted to see, like, maybe you were talking a little bit about engagement and how do you think maybe the community services in the city could improve our engagement with all the different communities we have?
Yeah. I would caveat what I say based on the fact that I've sort of been in the staff seat before. I've worked on budgets for the city of Los Angeles. I've reported to commissions, committees before. So, you know, most cities devote their resources to police and fire. So a lot of the funds that are left for community services is rather small and is all mostly earmarked. So, you know, sort of there are constraints in regards to what we can do with the funds that we have. But that being said, you know, there are, you know, we need to look at where the community has been and where it's going. So where the community has been the pandemic, right? It's been very disruptive to lots of families, lots of small businesses. And we're, you know, kind of still navigating these very turbulent waters, moving into an environment of high inflation, potentially a recession at the end of this year or next year. So in terms of what we need to do now to address the needs of the community, certainly mental health issues is something that we know it's been part of the national dialogue. A lot of families, especially elderly immigrants, have been staying at home and not, you know, sort of socializing in a way that's healthy for their mental health. And you know, one thing that we could do is provide more access or perhaps ways for them to engage with mental health service providers, just more workshops potentially, something of course within the lines of what we currently do could be an add-on. Going forward in terms of, you know, the economy, you know, if we start seeing job losses, and given the fact that, you know, for some individuals who have been out of the workforce or who will lose their jobs, they might want more access to social services, find different ways of accessing social services. That's something that we can communicate with the community. We can also find workplace training programs that would make it, you know, sort of relevant, upskill the workforce in San Gabriel. make it easier for small businesses in San Gabriel to hire those residents as well. So maybe we'd have job workshops or job recruitment events that we could operate at the parks or again as an add-on to some of the events that we have.
Thank you, appreciate that. Next will be Vice Mayor Wu.
I got to be quick. Nancy. Well, first of all, thank you so much for applying. Then, while we are so impressed with how grassroots you are, and you know our city so well, and also your educational background is very impressive. That you graduate from the UC Berkeley, you got your master from Princeton University. So, and also you are a business owner in our city, and you're a mother with 2 young children, and you're taking care of your own mom. So you're more like representing a very like traditional Asian family. It's very like everything, everywhere, all at once style.
Yeah.
So I think that you like our city a lot, and you like what we have already. So what is the thing you believe with your participation that you can improve even better more?
Well, Active SGV, I believe it's a valley-wide initiative, and my husband and I, we actually rented a cargo bike, an e-cargo bike, so we could go around the city and test the bike routes. So, if we could, think more about how to make it safer for people to use, to be on wheels. It could not necessarily on bikes, it could be scooters, it could be roller skates, skateboards, as long as they're being respectful. And I think there are different ways of making sure that the community stays active for mental health and for just, lifestyle reasons. So sort of putting more effort around that. I think that Active SGV has been a really good initiative to sort of get the word out, and I know a lot of my friends who are also parents are interested, but the wait list for the cargo bikes for families it stretches out to 6 months. There's a lot of demand, so perhaps we can tap into that demand more, especially as car prices increase. I think a lot of, and when the gas prices were at $6, I think there was a lot of interest in using e-bikes. So that's something we could also think about.
This is awesome, but just to give you an update that RPD, actually they are working on, it's very similar to that. It's just like how to teach our residents how to become a writer that, more cautious. They provide those like reflections tape or something to our children. And just, they approach a school and they just deliver the brochure, the pamphlet, and educate them. So they're already doing that. But thank you so much for your input, and I really appreciate what you have, what you have shared with us about your experience in our city and what you can do for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Councilmember Chan ask questions.
Hi, Nancy. Thanks for coming. Before I ask my question, I want to make a small comment regarding your comment about your Chinese abilities, and I feel your pain. I recently realized that my Cantonese ability is not quite as good as I thought it was.
Yeah,
always practice.
ABCs.
Yeah, always practice, I guess, okay, get better. I know you, and I know and I appreciate that you mentioned you've been to many events here, and thank you. And we need good ambassadors like you for our events. But besides our city events, and you've probably been to other cities and experienced their events, do you have in mind ideas for events that you want to see here, or whether they're just things that you just thought up or things that you've seen work in other cities that you'd like to see here and be able to contribute if you're chosen to be on the commission?
It's as a small business employer, we're always looking for new staff. It has been a very challenging labor market since the onset of the pandemic, and I want to make sure that families who want to have both parents working have the capacity to do that. And I think that the challenge there, part of the challenge is after-school program and childcare. So if there are some cities that will put together an, I guess, exhibition or some way of bringing all the childcare providers out so parents can meet them and get all the information in one space. You know, whether it's summer camps because kids are out of school for 3 months, so what are you gonna do? You still have a full-time job, right? So you know, parents are constantly trying to figure out what to do with their kids. So if there's a way that you can bring all the childcare providers in the same spot, so they would have flyers like they can hand out, have information they can give to parents, then we could, you know, have a better idea of how to use those resources of small businesses around San Gabriel Valley and in particular in San Gabriel.
Great, thank you.
Well, thank you. We have given everybody an opportunity to just maybe give us something, give the council something that we may not have asked you that might be interesting or that may help us in our deliberation. So we make it a little brief because we've kind of gone over time, but I'll give you the same opportunity.
Sure. I mean, as I said before, I really appreciate the opportunity to interview before you. It would be a real honor to serve my community. I believe I have a strong background in government and in the private sector. So, you know, as somebody as a voice of a small business owner, as well as someone who's a resident who, as you mentioned, the sandwich generation where I have kids and I have a parent to take care of, I think it's important to have those viewpoints expressed in a commission. And I would be happy to work with my commissioners in developing new programming to address any new issues that come up down the road.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We will be making our decisions and deliberations on Tuesday at the council meeting, so you're welcome to either join us or watch us on YouTube. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Actually, city manager wants to make a comment.
Nancy, just a heads up for you and for the hundreds of residents I'm sure that are watching right now. You mentioned swim lessons and how difficult it is to get a spot. At the good suggestion of our council, we are opening up swim lessons this year early for San Gabriel residents to try and give our folks a little bit of a head start in getting those much sought after spots. So please watch for that. I think we're going to allow 3 or 4 days for residents to get those first spots, and then after that, it'll be open to the general public. So please watch for that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next interview is with Meng-Shi Fu.
I think we have, is that the right order or is that wrong?
I can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we have to go to a different resume then. Ting Shi.
So her name is Ting Shi.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that the.
It's all right. No, we'll take you. It's
Because
all right.
he kind of in rush to go.
No
so
worries.
maybe
Well,
he
we're going to go with it. There's no reason to
can
change it.
switch? Okay.
No worries. Well, thank you for volunteering once again. We appreciate it, stepping up. We're going to each ask you a question. So I think I will start with this one. Serving on the Community Service Commission is really important. It's one of the best ways, or probably the best way the city has to engage residents. So I'd like to know if you have any ways you think we might be able to improve our engagement with the residents in general, or it's always the most difficult thing for the city to engage people.
Right.
So if you have any maybe novel ideas or new ideas you might want to bring, you have anything you'd like to explain?
Thank you, Mayor and City Council members. I do have some new ideas for improving the engagement, and I did notice that the city recently sent out the mailer, a survey to ask the residents what is a preferred communication method they would like to for them to get those information, so which is I think is really good. And what at the commission, what we're doing right now is we didn't have a booth or like a certain role at the community events previously, but recently we're trying to get our own community service commission booth at the event. I think if some of you probably saw me last time at the Easter event. We're there to listen to the residents, collect some information, and if they have any feedbacks, and then we were collecting them, hopefully we can bring it up at the next commission meeting so we can improve the events in the future. And also, I'm monitoring the Chinese social media, which is called WeChat. I always check what was pushed out of the city, and I did notice there's some translation issues previously, like recently on the grant program, that some of the, it says the qualification for the business are like any business that has less than 10 people, but on the Chinese translation it says more than 10 people. So it caused some confusion for the residents. And then I've caught that one when I was communicating with the local business, and then I talked that to Matthew, and then get that one corrected. And I think somehow I helped out on the communication by doing that, and then just some similar things in the last 2 years.
Great, thank you. So next we'll have Vice Mayor Wu.
Thank you, Mayor. So what do you see now as the biggest challenge that related to community service in our city?
At the beginning, when I joined the commission, the meeting always lasts like 30 minutes. I think probably the shortest meeting we'll have in all commission. But recently we're getting longer and longer because we're trying to implement plan now. Like every commissioner come to the meeting with their goals that they wanted to achieve. I brought up some issues on the plan that we wanted to achieve, such as I brought up the Smith Park pool issue. The community service manager, Christina, she showed me around and see how bad the situation on our pool right now is. So we put that one on our agenda that we want to work on. And then some of my fellow commissioners are already working on it and already approached some of you probably to get funds, and even some states legislators. And also other issues such as we want like rubber running trail, translation service, which is another one. I heard there's some changes to the translation services in the city right now. I noticed that we subcontract this thing to other group outside the city, and then I brought that one up to the commission that it's just translation maybe. And some of the city youth, students, they wanted to volunteer their time to help us doing the translation and provide community service. Then maybe we can use that one as opportunity for them to also participate. And that's the one project I'm working on right now, which is really important because our city is really diverse. Different percentage of people speak different languages, but then we're always relying on the other outside sources to do the translation services. And I just hope that we can bring this one inside the city and then give our kids some opportunity.
Thank you. Next question will come from Councilmember Chan.
Thanks for serving on commission so far, and thanks for coming to interview again. I know you mentioned the translation, and that's a good idea. I mean, we have to make sure our resources are accurate and correct. And so I was going to ask you, besides that, since you've already been serving for a little while, what other programs have you really enjoyed or been very proud of that you've been involved in during your time?
I only been served the 2 years as the commissioner, and the first year was most of the time remote, and basically last year was the year that I was winning on full mode. And before I become a commissioner, my attendance to the city events probably like 30-40%, and last year probably like 80-90%. I try to make to all the events. And at all the events, I try to take videos for the city events, save that one as a marketing material for future. Because I remember the first time when I did it for the mental health festival or something, that video, I showed it to some residents and they were like, oh, this event looks so amazing. So sad that they didn't attend. And then this will give us another way to appeal to the residents to participate in their events. And also I go to those events and observe is there any way that we can improve in the future? Something such as the recent Lunar New Year festival, some of the local vendors approached me that they didn't get any information from the city that to apply to be a vendor at the event. And then I asked the staff what's the reason, and then I think it has something to do with that this year we contracted with another entity that probably they just directly contacted their source instead of reach out to our local vendors, which I think it's pretty important that our local vendors, our local restaurants, who's already struggling after COVID, that they can be getting the opportunity first, and always offer the opportunity. So if they wanted to participate.
Great, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. Next will be Councilmember Ding.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, team, to continue to apply the Community Service Commissioner. And I know that on the meeting, sometimes the community or applicant have some different idea. So how do you, on your current meeting, do you have any experience how to balance and management this kind of issue? I know have something, right? Especially it's for the veteran memorial, yeah, veteran memorial. So how do you handle this kind of issue?
I'm surprised you asked that question. I was surprised when the thing happened, and then how should I describe this? Probably you already know what really happened, so I'm not gonna just repeat the event. But when something that I disagree happened, I just step up, and I want to say I told the veterans that it is commissioner's personal opinion. The commissioner's opinion are their personal opinions. It doesn't represent the whole commission. And I wanted to show my gratitude and respect for our veterans. And then I think our city is always open to new ideas, and we can work with everybody if they have anything. And I think that's eventually happened, and I'm really glad that our city included the veterans and then wanted to help them achieve the memorial thing. But if disagreements happens, I think just we need to, as a commissioner, we need to stand our ground and voice our opinions and speak from our heart. And then just remember that what our passion is and what we're doing is for the best of the residents of the city of San Gabriel.
Thank you for your answer. Also, thank you. A lot of feedback when you do the like these last 2 years. You already answered all the question, or also bring the future. Yeah, thank you for your service. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like the council to know, or maybe something you'd just like to add that will help us in our deliberations?
First of all, I want to say I'm really excited tonight that I have the opportunity to come in front of you again after 2 years. Because 2 years ago, when I went in front of you, I was fresh, I didn't know anything, and it just, whatever idea come on my mind, and I would say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want an autumn festival, this and that. But now, after 2 years, after working with our city staff and experience all those events, great events that we offer, I want to say, I don't really want to say that I want to add more event to existing event, but because we already have a lot, but it doesn't mean that we have no room to improve. And then my profession is in project management and process improvement, so I'm always looking for ways to improve. And I think we already have good quantity, so quality is now should proceed in front of the quantity. And I wanted to keep serving, and then since I already have 2-year experience at the commission, I think I finally find the role that I should write on, that what I should do. In the beginning, I didn't know what to do. I just sit through 30 minutes meeting, but now I know I need to be pushy. I need to bring up issues, bring up ideas, and also work with the city staff to make our community service department better. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm excited that I'm here to share with you that what I've learned, what I plan to do, and what I have achieved.
Well, thank you. We very much appreciate that. So we will be making deliberations and our decision on Tuesday at the council meeting. So you're welcome to join us in the chambers or watch on video, whatever you prefer on YouTube. But I wanted to thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, it looks like we only have one applicant in the waiting room, and it's Gary Liu.
Okay, we'll take Gary Lou next. Good evening, Gary.
Good evening.
Thank you for volunteering. We appreciate it when people step up and volunteer to serve the community. Much appreciated.
Appreciate having me.
All right. So we're each going to ask questions tonight, all 4 of the council members. So we will start off with Vice Mayor Wu.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, Mr. Liu.
Hi, Vice Mayor.
So, thank you so much for applying for this position. Would you please share a little bit more about yourself? Because, it seems like it's very simple on your resume, but I think maybe you can tell us what's your professions and how you're, why you believe you are capable for this position.
Sure. Well, first of all, I actually moved here when I was 11 years old after I graduated elementary school in Taiwan. So I'm capable of speaking fluently Chinese Mandarin. Sorry, a little nervous, right?
No worries, don't be
Okay.
nervous.
Yeah, so I can speak fluent Chinese Mandarin, and definitely learn English along the way after I moved here. So I pretty much moved in San Gabriel Valley back in 1995, and graduated from Arcadia High School. And ever since, just basically being really active in this area, this community. And to answer your question, I am a realtor, and also running my parents' business. We run a travel agency business in San Gabriel, and we basically serve pretty much all the Chinese American, and also I also sorry, I also serve basically service this area as well. So I pretty much seeing the growth, the changes, in this community, the neighbor cities in such as Alhambra, Arcadia, Temple City, Maury Park. So I've been here. I've been seeing a lot of improvements, and I love being in San Gabriel because I feel like this is my roots. And then my mom got us the house in San Gabriel, and we've been here ever since 2015. And and also just being here, it feels like it feels like home. It feels like this is where I want to have family with. I want to grow my family because it's just so everything here is just so familiar, with the culture, with the environments, and that's why I definitely feel this is where I belong. And the reason I definitely want the reason I want to apply for this position is because I want to contribute. I want to because I have a family. I have a 8-year-old daughter, and it's like every time when there's a celebration in San Gabriel, we're always there, and definitely being with my family, being with my daughter, and I want to do more for not just for my family, of course. I want to contribute as much as I can for the community as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I have my daughter is also 8 years old. So you're affiliated with Lions Club. Which Lions Club you belongs to?
Yeah, I belong to Monrovia Lions Club. Yeah, so I do have experience volunteering for charity events, and also donation, and also doing lots of volunteering work for Lions Club. And I definitely feel proud of myself doing that. Yeah, because that's what I love to do. I love to help people. I love to see their smiles. I love to do things for them to give back to the community. To give back to what people need. So I enjoy doing that. Yeah.
I see. So have you ever participated any a community event, maybe enroll any class for your daughter, and what do you think the best that we have in our city?
Well, I actually enrolled her into the singing class.
Singing class?
Yeah, at the recreation center. Yeah, actually, she. Don't get me wrong, but then she's actually waiting for me there. But don't worry, I have a friend that is actually there with her right now. So yeah, I think her mom is actually picking her up right now. So so totally fine. But anyways, yeah, I yeah. But anyways, I definitely appreciate that there is actually classes for for the community, right? Because I feel like my daughter really loves singing, and that's why I enrolled her. That's why I saw the magazine that the city offered the class, singing, dancing, even like art class. That's just perfect for the family. So yeah, really grateful to have that. Yeah.
Glad to know. Thank you so much, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Councilmember Chan.
Hello, Mr. Liu. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask you, you've kind of described some of the programs that the city has that you enjoy. Now, if you were to be chosen to be on the commission, do you have any ideas as to what kind of programs you would like to see that we don't currently do? And maybe with your experience in other cities, if you've seen them do certain things that you think would work well in our community?
Well, first of all, I think for a city to offer, what we already have is I'm appreciate that already. But definitely, I believe there's some ideas that I have that might help gather different ethnic groups together. That will be helpful. Like like a chorus club, or like a singing group, or I'm not, yeah, like for, to have like a fusion concert, like, for different ethnic groups, to kind of like just sing together in different language. I mean, sing the same song, but in different language, right? I mean, that's something that I always want to be part of. Yeah, so I think that's a great idea. Yeah, that's so far. That's all I have right now. Yeah.
Oh, that's thank you. And if we actually get that together, I'll come sing with you.
Please do.
I used to be a karaoke king before the Rona lockdown. I
Well,
want to
not-
start singing again.
Yeah, we could all sing on the Chinese Lunar event, right? Together. That would be a great show. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Councilmember Ding.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Gary. The Lions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm the San Gabriel Lion Club, Hope Lion Club president. So I use this opportunity, maybe encourage you to join us too, not the not the Monrovia.
I might have to call a Brown Act
Great
violation.
friends. Yeah, let me.
Just kidding,
Hey,
just kidding.
Can we
Me too.
combine instead? No, just kidding.
Okay, but that's good. It's both Lion Club. It's really like do the community service. Okay, and yeah, so that's why I think that's why you want to apply to the community service commissioner. Yeah, really glad to see you in the Lions Club meeting. I saw you a lot of time
Yes.
at the event. So you are really like it's a community member to. So it's really appreciate you apply, and so like so any suggestion for our community service the event? Any suggestion you think we need improvement?
I would just because there's just one thing I really hoping. I mean, not hoping, but I want to kind of see if I could participate in, or if I could join forces, to improve is that the safety of our community and our children. It just, increasingly I've been seeing. I don't know if I mean, look, I mean, I don't mean that. It's not I don't like those people, but then it's just that I mean I see all the homeless people on the streets, or people are just kind of like. Even there's one day that there was a homeless lady. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't like them, but I do feel threatened somehow because she was just sleeping right front of our office. And we're just, kindly, just asking her to move, but it was hostile, the way she acted. We definitely feel threatened. It happened to us, right? So I guess that's just one of the things I would like to have the community improve, and I definitely want to help. So I guess to clean up the street, or even help them to get back on their feet, or just make sure they're in a better place, and not get in trouble with either the tenant of the business or, you know, people walking on the street, that would be the only thing that I would suggest to improve, yeah.
Okay, thank you for the suggestion. But my question also is, for our current event, do you think what we can do the better?
I have, first of all, I really, really appreciate what the city have done, because, I mean, for all the events that I attended, especially for the Lunar Year event, I mean, it just really, unfortunately, it happened to have that, you know, something happened before that. But I really, really are grateful that we have actually have increased police force that's protecting the community event or the lunar event. And I mean, I definitely feel safe, much more safer. And I was supposed to go to the event, the second day of the Memorial Park event, but then but that thing happened, and so I definitely want to attend the San Gabriel event. And I see all the police forces, I see all the protection there. I mean, I definitely feel a lot safe, and yeah, I loved it. I loved the event. Yeah, I love what the city have done. Yes.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. So I had a question. We can, along the same lines as Councilmember Ding, I think one of the hardest things for the city and the commission to do is really outreach. So I don't know if you might have any ideas on how we might improve our outreach. Maybe, I don't know what ideas you might have on that, like engaging the community more.
I just think that if there's any way we could be more, to reach out more, I guess, the people in San Gabriel with more, I guess, more digitally, meaning that we can have more signs up that for people that needs help in certain ways, and more information that's maybe on the street to make people, to let people to see it, like, you know, okay, so if I need help, what would I do to reach out for the city, like digitally, you know, with the QR codes or the yeah, or signs. I think that's the, yeah, that's the only, that's the suggestion I would have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything that you would like for us to know about you, or anything you'd like to add that might help us in our deliberations? Just general, doesn't have to be about the commission.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry, because I'm really nervous, and
No worries at all.
yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm really humble. I'm a fast learner, and I really, really want to contribute, because I like I said, this is where I grew up, and this is my roots, and this is where I live, you know. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm definitely hoping to be one of the commissioner to help the community. I really do. I really do want to help. Yes. And
Thank you, we appreciate that. We love your enthusiasm. So we're going to be deliberating and making decisions on Tuesday at the council meeting, so you're welcome to join us here in the chambers or watch on YouTube. I know
Okay.
kids, it gets busy, so.
sounds good.
Thank you for coming. Have a
appreciate
great,
to
great evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Mayor, I'm going to do one more check to make sure nobody else is there.
We want to be thorough.
We have no more applicants.
Thank you. So with that, I'm gonna check dates before I read it. We will be adjourning without objection to Tuesday, May 2nd 2023, 6:30 PM.